Hey guys, this is Issues with Toddy One Skip. I am Toddy One Skip. Welcome back to the channel, and thank you so much for allowing me to be part of your day and my hair. Guys, so I don't even know where to begin this, but I'm just going to go with it. I've gotten a few messages and I've gotten a few comments. So I've gotten several things that have brought to my attention that Fancy has been saying things about me. I don't care. I don't care. I'm going to address the issues that I personally heard Fancy say. And then I'm going to address Fancy. But I'm going to tell you this, guys. You guys know who you are. I'm not going to put you out there. I've gotten messages telling me that Fancy has told you to F off or F yourself because you have said, you've defended me. You guys have defended me. And it doesn't even seem to be like it's been like weird or cosmic stuff. It's been, I didn't say that, which is fact, right? Because you can go back to a video and see if I said that or didn't say that. So this, this all started when I tried to show Fancy grace at the very beginning of all of this. When I heard her name and all of this, there was something that didn't feel right within me. That's why I didn't do anything with her. That's why there were no projects done with her. She had called herself everything in the book, a producer, a director, an actress, a this, a that, a this, a that. But I know what those titles mean. Nothing. Unless you can show the work. It's not even that I'm asking you to show me produced work when I say that. And this isn't directed directly at Fancy. I called myself a writer, right? I got paid for writing 2 or 3 times, okay? Because one time it was songwriting. So if you want to go into that, I got paid 3 times. And when I think about things, I did get paid other times, but not the way you would think. That if I said that I got paid and you looked it up, you'd be, that's a little gray. 3 times I got paid. Okay. So one time was I wrote something about that had to do with somebody who moved to Africa. It was somebody else's story. They just gave me a page and a half of their life, and I put it into, I want to say, a 90-page screenplay. I still have that screenplay. Anybody that wants to read it, I got it. I could prove it. I didn't spew it into a computer. I sat at one. Okay. I've written jail dramas. Anybody that wants to see them, I've got them. I could show you thousands of pages of written work that I've done. I can't show you thousands of pages of written work that I got paid for, but I could show you the work that I've done. I could show you songs. You could hear songs. My songs are online. I have 2 books online. Not where I talked into a computer, but when I sat at one. Now, it doesn't mean that my grammar is perfect, but you can definitely see a completed piece of work twice easy. Go to Kindle. Go to Kindle. You don't even have to. You can go to my bio, and they're there. And you can get them free if you're part of Prime, I guess, right? Or something. I don't know. But I think they're only $2.99. If you had an interest, you don't have to, but there's completed pieces of work that I sat behind a computer and put hundreds of pages together, probably to get 150 pages. You know what I'm saying? Because when you complete something, it's very rarely the first draft, right? So I understand what a director is, what a producer is, what this is, what that is. I understand, but do you get paid for it? Because see, that's it. You can call yourself anything you want, but then what have you done besides the other things? And where's your work? Forget if you got paid for it or not. Where's your work? Show us your work. So when I was hearing Fancy calling herself all of these titles, I thought, yeah, probably some of those hats have fallen off because I know how that works. I've been there, done that, for years, for decades. Still, I was showing Fancy grace, but there was something keeping me, a gut feeling, and I have them. It's no secret that I worked in a jail. It's no secret that I worked in a rehab with kids, and not young kids really. Like most of the average age was 17, 18, seriously? 16, 17, 18. So young adults. So you have to have like some sort of training. I went to some sort of schooling, and you have to have some sort of gut instinct at some point. So there was something that I said to myself, I'm not going to do anything with Fancy. I'm really not sure who she is. And then I started seeing that she wasn't keeping people in her realm. She wasn't keeping people. And I said to myself, there's a reason for that. I'm still not ready to do some work. And I've had people that had written to me and said, hey, let's do something together. Let's collaborate. And I held off. In all fairness, Morbid. I held off with Morbid for a little bit too. I did. I held off. I wanted to see, whose panel am I going on? Who is this person? How do they behave? Do I want to associate with them? That's my right. That's my right. So I got on Morbid's panel. Never got with Fancy. Never got with Fancy because when I tried to show support and then things happened with that was where the breakup with Fancy was when she started cursing people out after they donated to her. And I felt responsible for the people that I sent over to donate to her. It wasn't about the money for me. It might have been about the money for the people that she yelled and screamed at when she needed more money to come back from Missouri, the kidnapping trip that only came out as a kidnapping trip after people pressed charges against her for a false police report. Otherwise, her and Sarah were having a great time. This is who Fancy Maselli is. Throughout the year that I've had any kind of association with Fancy Maselli, I have had people send me her criminal record. Yeah, I have. Never asked for it, never looked it up. Because I believe that people deserve second chances. Look at the line of work I was in. I totally believe that. But I don't encourage and I won't support somebody who has perpetual behavior, which I think Fancy has. I was on a live stream. You guys saw it. I don't even remember the live stream, but if you look it up, and I mean, you could look it up by the date that all this stuff is coming out and see. Somebody sent me something while I was on a live stream, and it said, Fancy beating her dog. It was an email. It said, Fancy beating her dog. I looked at that, I read it, and I said, I don't know anything about this. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't. I wasn't the only person, apparently, that got that. So, Fancy, why are people trying to destroy you? And why do you have so much dirt on you that allows people to do that? Why has at least a dozen people over the course of the 12 months that I have had any kind of affiliation, and when I say affiliation, I mean even like this, with Fancy, because I don't know Fancy's phone. I do know Fancy's phone. People have sent me her information. Let me tell you something. You can look me up. There's nothing. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. I have been honest with things that you wouldn't find out. I've had financial troubles. I've lost things. And I've had family to help me. Not everybody has been blessed with family to help them. My dad was huge in helping everybody in the family. He's no longer here. Okay. But yeah, a good 20 years before he passed, I mean, like, I kind of had it under control because you don't continue the same behavior and it shouldn't be encouraged. to continue the same behavior. Anybody could look up Fancy Maselli. They know her name. I have never even referred to her. And I dare anybody to please, I challenge you to please show me where I've even called Fancy by her real name. Now, I've shown Fancy respect. And that's how I've shown Fancy. You want to be called this name? I'm going to call you this name. I'm not going to put up your police reports, your criminal reports, even when you say things that to me are just really stupid. Somebody called you a felon, Fancy. You're a felon. The fact that you don't want to call yourself a felon, that's fine, because you pled down to something. But you committed a felony act. You just pled down to something. I got a speeding ticket the other day. I pled down to a parking ticket. Doesn't mean I wasn't speeding. I certainly was. Very blessed to be able to plead down to a parking ticket, but I was still speeding. I didn't get a parking ticket. I pled down to a parking ticket so I wouldn't be charged with the speeding ticket, with the points. But I was speeding. So let's be clear. What I'm saying is don't call people out on shit. And you know, this thing about the dog, I mean, I left that alone. I said something on my live when it happened, when I got it anyway. And a few content creators have picked up the lies that you said, Fancy. That you said 1980 Millennial has a whole video of you lying right there. And you can't change that. My problem is that when people say to you, and guys, I appreciate anybody standing up for me, but standing up to somebody like Fancy who just doesn't care about the truth, she's still selling books. Books, my ass. You know, it's a joke. Transcripts of her talking about Dee Dee being a monster. She has yet to change the narrative. Yet to put something together that tells her story from beginning to end. And I've given her that. She will do that. I gave her that idea. You could see that in one of my lives where I'm telling her what to do. Or one of my videos where I'm giving her a lot of do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that. Because something tells me I've had a little bit more success in this than you. At least I have the follow through when it comes to the writing. I have thousands of pages anytime you'd like to read them. They're there. So, you know, when you guys, anybody, goes for the Scientology community as well, when you believe in somebody that's telling you something and you see that their actions are different, you have the right to question them without somebody telling you to F off or go F yourself. You know, I've had a few people in my comments, very few, say, well, you know, something about Fancy, and I never tell them to F off, go F yourself, or you can only be subscribers of hers or mine, take your pick. Come on. Come on. Seriously. But you know, Fancy, you keep running your mouth because anybody looking in sees that, you know, this community that you say you started, you're responsible for everybody. I didn't know you. I didn't know you when I came on to here. I don't even know you, but didn't know you. Didn't know you at all. When I was looking into things, until I got to where I was at, that's where you were at. But yet you've been at this case for like how many years? It only took me a few months to get to where you were at for me to say this doesn't look right and start looking for like-minded people. You didn't get me there. You didn't get me there. Gypsy got me there. Gypsy got me there with two documentaries that I saw, and then I looked into the third to find if there was a different story that she told about her running away that night. And then I started finding all this other stuff. That's when I started looking for like-minded people. And by the way, you weren't the only one. I had already found Nina. There was already people that were out that I found. I was doing things with Parawoman Radio. I was doing things with Down the Rabbit Hole, Alice. So, you don't own anything except for the fact that you brought in the wrong narrative and you're still trying to sell it to make money. And yet you claim justice for Dee Dee. My ass. My ass. So, guys, that's what I'm going to say about Fancy. I'm not going to put her criminal record up here, but you could look it up. You guys know her name. You could look it up. Fancy, you want to keep going with me? I can make this a sport too. I wasn't the perfect youth. I did bad things and wrong things. I did. I never got caught. I just stopped on my own. That's called character evolution. We're still waiting on yours. Guys, all that in saying, please just don't stand up for me because I don't want you guys getting yelled at. You guys are my weakest link. You're my weakest link because I care about you and I don't want you to be brought down in defending me. You don't have to defend me. I'm a big girl, but I appreciate it. Guys, I got to run, but I wanted to just let you know that and I so appreciate you guys. So be better today than you were yesterday, not half as good as you'll be tomorrow. Always, always, always be kind. Thanks, guys. Hey guys, this is Issues with Taddy One Skip in my hair. My hair should have its own Instagram or something.